there is no doubt. I said, die. So that was strong though, right? Ain't that strong though? Because I'm a soldier, you better come hard. And this bad boy is saying, this is the book. In it, there is no doubt. Now imagine somebody who's looking, imagine somebody who's searching. Imagine somebody who's searching, really, truthfully searching, and something tells you, this is the book, and in it, it is no doubt. And so now I am listening. And it's as if the book was talking to me. I swear. I'm on a bus. I don't want to get spooky or nothing, but I'm on a bus. And it felt like it was really quiet around me. I'm on a bus in one of the largest cities in the country. And it felt like it was really quiet around me. And it felt like this bad boy was talking to me. And so I am listening. I'm listening. And so everything it's saying, I'm applying politically because I'm an activist, right? And so I'm applying it politically. Oh, that'll work. That'll work. That'll work in the struggle. That would work. And so I'm going, and I'm Surah Al-Nahl, Surah 16, when it's talking about nature, a lot about nature. Check out Surah 16. And it's talking about like Allah saying, I made this, I created the sun, I created the moon. And then I began to go back to that conversation I had with my uncle when he said, well, how do you explain nature? How do you explain the baby being born? When I read that right there, I went back to that conversation that I had with him. And so I'm saying, man, and I got so engrossed in the book and so affected, I closed the book and I said, who wrote this? Who's talking like this? And so I looked in the front of the book and it said the Quran, translated by. I said, no, not translated by. Who wrote it? I'm looking. Right? And I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the Quran by, feel me? You know what I'm saying? And so I just kept reading. And so then I got back to the place I was staying and I put my son to bed and I went back and I read more until I fell asleep. I woke up the next morning and I picked up the book and I started reading some more. By the time I left Philly, I knew I was going back to California and I was going to become a Muslim. And so when I got back to California, everything began to seem right. Everything, yeah, that's right. The corruption thing, Islam. And then I began to understand Malcolm on another level. Because like many others, I took his militancy, but not his morals. Like many others, right? Many other activists who still do that to this day. They take his militancy, but not his morals. And so I started to understand Malcolm more. So I had to reread the autobiography, and I started seeing things that he started saying spiritually that I didn't pick up before. Malcolm was coming like hardcore spiritual. Do you know that Malcolm said in his autobiography that the only true world solution are those governments guided by true religion? That's in his autobiography. The only true world solution are those governments guided by true religion. That the criterion of leadership is spiritual. He was saying all this stuff, and we didn't see that part. We just thought the militant, that kind of thing, right? But not the spiritual part. So we had to go back, and there it was. His spirituality started to come out in us. So then, now we Muslim. Now we're going to take the movement to a whole nother level. I saw Imam Jamil. Because word got out in the black community that Imam H. Rap Brown is a Muslim now. H. Rap Brown is a Muslim. H. Rap Brown is supposed to be one of the people who's to take over after Malcolm. That's how the government looked at him. That the Congress put him under house arrest. The U.S. Congress put Imam Jamil, when he's H. Rap Brown, under house arrest so he wouldn't go across the country teaching. Feel me? So when we found out that H. Rap Brown is a Muslim, he's Imam Jamil now. I had just taken Shahada. Imam Jamil comes to Oakland. And he does a talk. He gives a talk. And what Imam Jamil said, it was so like deep, like that I didn't really understand it until like a year later. And I listened to this tape like over and over and over again. Because what Imam Jamil was saying to us was that back in the 60s, yeah, we struggled, but we didn't really struggle right. Because what he was talking about was that very same thing. Our morals wasn't right. What Imam Jamil was telling us is that Islam is a program of conditioning that prepares you for struggle. But he said, how are you going to fight the outside enemy and you can't fight yourself? He's talking about the Nafs al-Amara. How are you going to fight him and not fight yourself? How are you going to fight the outside enemy and you can't get up for Salah? So he was telling us that Islam will take our struggle as activists to a higher level. No drugs. Back in college, we said, no, we're going to get married. So some of us got married while we were in college on financial aid. But hey, whatever, right? So we got married. We got married, right? Because it was like Islam was taking us to another level, a higher level of struggle. No drugs. We're married. Boom, 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 that type of thing, right? And so it gave us a certain type of discipline. But guess what? One of the things that really hit me hard, and Imam Jamil made me see this, was that before Islam, we were actually imitating what we thought we were fighting against. Hear me out on this. Before Islam, we were actually imitating what we thought we were fighting against. Not just imitating it. We were actually worshiping what we thought we were fighting against. Try to stay with me on this. I remember I used to take pride in being a rebel. I'm a rebel. I'm a rebel. A rebel against who? The system, right? I'm a rebel. That's my identity. I'm a rebel against the system, right? Now, who am I putting first? The system. I'm putting the system first. I'm a rebel against the system. Guess what Islam taught me? I'm not the rebel. The system is the rebel. Why? Because who you putting first? Allah. You're putting Allah first. Understand this. I wasn't putting Allah first. I was putting the system first. That was my starting point. And I'm rebelling against that. Islam said, no, you're not the rebel. You're not the rebel. You're in submission. You're in submission. You have submitted to the one God. The enemies of truth and justice, they're the rebels. For they have rebelled against the one God. You put Islam enabled you to see that you have to put Allah first. Allah comes first. Because whatever you put first, that's actually what you worship. Whatever you put first. So Imam Jamil made us realize that we were actually imitating and worshiping what we thought we were fighting against. He also made us realize that we can't fight based on a reaction. And so some of my black nationalist friends became upset because I became Muslim. They was upset. Islam is for Arabs. We black nationalists. Islam is for Arabs. So I betrayed them. And so I was trying to get them to understand, no. You have to understand where I'm at. And so I said, let me ask you a question. Why should black people be united? And they came at me. Black people should be united because the white man is coming at us and the white man is blah, 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 and the white man is oppressing us. I said, okay. Now ask me why I think black people should be united. They said, why should black people be united? I said, because God is one. Because there's unity in nature. And I was trying to get them to see, if we go with you, if we're supposed to be united because the white man is oppressing us, then what that means, the extension of that means that when we're not oppressed anymore, we don't need to be united. It's reactionary. It's reactionary. And so what Islam taught me was that don't be reactionary. It's not about reactionary. And it's not about putting anything first except Allah. And so Islam took us to a higher level of struggle. And in understanding this, I began to see the U.S. government and the corporations and the people who run this country and the Zionists and all oppressors, their Achilles heel is spiritual warriors. That's their kryptonite. Spiritual warriors. That's why I be telling y'all, as activists, that y'all are in a serious place. Y'all don't get high, you ain't chasing cutie pies. Look at the lifestyle. You're praying, you're fasting. You are the best type of activist. You're the type of activist that the remnants of the movement still left.